coach. Man, I want to be that. Like, you know, I want that look. But you look up to those teachers, and what I'm about to say is this: those kids are looking at you, even with how your hair is and all that, and what they're saying is, "Oh shit,
yeah,
he got tattoos, he got his hair like still, like, damn, I can
do that too.
I could do that too. Hey, we can make this money together, not." Oh, nah, don't go down there. Don't fuck with them and don't do this, don't do that. No. And what because when we first got this building, we had a lot of bullshit happening on the street with motherfuckers not trying to see us succeed in opening in this building. And they were black. What's up, everybody? This your boy Pop, and we got another week in, and right here at the Den doing Big Stick Energy podcast. I feel a little off right now because it's Friday, and we usually do this on Thursday, and I just I'm a little unbalanced right now. Yeah. Oh, before we go into it, though, but that's why I'm saying I feel a little off because usually I'm like on point on everything. But Big Stick Energy is brought to you by Brock Brand. Go out and get your Brock Brand. Go to brockbrand.com. Get your gear up, look fresh, look nice in that gear, brockbrand.com. Also brought to you by Quad Houston. Good food, good drinks, good vibes, good people, good music. Everything is all good at Quad Houston. And the Den Cigar Lounge, located right here, right next door to Quad Houston, 4608 Almeda. The Den Cigar Lounge got all the best sticks, and some expensive, some not. But other than that, come right here. That's what we got. Last week we had a good show last week. But I'm going to tell y'all, though, although that show was good last week, I'm holding on to it. We're not going to release it yet. Not quite yet. I'm holding on to it. Why you looking like that, Brady Bobb?
Man, that was that was a dope show last week.
It was.
Oh my God.
It was.
Man, that was.
But you know how Chappelle kept a couple of secret shows and.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I was waiting for that one to come out too,
I
man.
know you was.
Golly.
Everybody is.
That was a good show. That was a good show.
Brady Bobb, my right hand man, my guy that's next to me. Hey, you're a school teacher though. Besides being a comedian, how was your school year this year?
Man, I had a productive school year. Man, I won a championship this year. I got to was able to reach a lot of the young black and Hispanics in the community that I do, that I teach in. It's just a real productive year, man. And I got to learn a lot more about myself this year. And it was good, man.
Hold on, you said you coached.
I coached.
What did you coach?
I coached football and basketball this year, and my football team. Man, we was trash. We went 0 for effort. We ain't win a game.
Hold on. What the hell happened?
Man, them boys was trash. That's what it was. And they'll tell you too, Coach, we apologize. We was trash this year in football. But
did they play hard? That's the question.
Man, they played hard. But now, basketball season rolled around. We won the championship with those same guys.
So, hold on. Let me ask you this up. We're going to go back to football.
Yeah.
What type of offense did you run?
Man, I ran run and shoot. I ran everything. I tried running.
That's the problem right there.
Run and shoot. I ran the V Young. I ran Wild Turkey.
Can I?
Wildcat. I ran
so
everything.
Are you coaching next year? You coaching again next season? Okay, I'm gonna tell you this.
I ran every outfit.
No, I'm gonna tell you this.
Pro set.
Go back to the basic. Go back to the basic. Run a pro set.
Mm-hmm. I ran pro set.
Run the veer. Teach them how to run the veer. Do you know how to run the veer?
Yeah.
Okay. Teach them how to run the veer.
My uncle is Clarence McKinney.
Okay, so you know.
Yes, I know.
So teach them how to run the veer. And at that age, misdirection is the best thing to run. All misdirection shit at that age. Because at that point, your linebackers they're not savvy enough to get it. And when you run misdirections, I'm just giving you some. I'm just getting. Do not put no kid in the fucking shotgun with a 8th grade center.
Yeah, my center was tripping this
He's
shit.
gonna either roll it back or he's gonna shoot it over the quarterback head.
Well, I taught 7th grade. I coached 7th
even
grade
worse.
this year.
Even worse.
That was, oh my God.
So what you do, you put your quarterback under the center, let him take the snap, and you run everything out of there. Now, when you're throwing the ball on that level, there's a couple of pass plays that you can throw on that level that'll be really easy to maneuver with those guys. Number one is the slant.
Yeah, number one, slant, yeah.
Slant, that's like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, it is.
No, but the next thing you need to run is stuff like comeback
routes.
Comeback routes. But misdirection plays on the 7th grade level.
Yeah. Now, my 8th grade team, we went to the championship and lost on the 1 yard line, man. We got all the way down there and the center hiked it over the guy head, man, and took us, man.
Seattle.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man. The Seattle, man.
Hey.
Yeah, they pulled the Seattle.
So Brady Bobb playing Tecmo Bowl with the 7th grade team.
Yeah, I'm sure. They need to learn. But I got them right, though. Now, come basketball season, hey, man, we won a championship with them same guys because I was able to get them in my program and understand because I was a new coach there and I was able – they understand what type of coach I was. And even in the football game, we barely lost a lot of the games. And they understood. And I told them, I said, man, you know what? We're gonna take the same energy, and we're gonna go to basketball with it. And man, them boys did. I was proud of them. We won the whole thing. 7th grade team. We won the whole thing.
So in basketball, what type of defense did you run?
Oh, we pressed the whole time. I pressed, and we did a 2-3 because it's middle school.
Yeah.
I pressed. I showed them how to the defense, how to be rugged out there, just moving, always into something. Those are the type of guys I had. They was feisty out there on that defense because defense win championships. I understand that. So we focus mainly on defense this year, and the offense came, and I was like, man, I don't care who scored. We trying to get these steals. We trying to get turn up on the defense.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys that brought into my system, man, and man, we blowing teams out, man. And I was subbing like back in the day, like Really Ridge used to sub Fresh 5 in. I was Fresh 5.
Brady
Fresh
Bobb,
5.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah.
You know I officiate basketball, right?
Yeah.
You knew that?
I didn't know that.
I officiate basketball.
Yeah, me too. I do too.
Middle school and high school.
I officiate all that, the AAUs and.
I don't fuck with AAU, so AAU, that's bullshit.
That's trash.
But I'm sorry, y'all. We're gonna get around to everybody. I just wanted to talk. Brady Bobb had a good year.
Yeah, I had a good year, man.
He had a good year. He a school teacher, coach.
Yeah.
Give it up for him.
Good year,
Big
man.
ups, bro. Big ups.
Big ups to him.
We got some good test scores too.
He deal with some fucking kids all day.
Oh my God.
I don't know about y'all,
Dude, Brady.
but
I'm telling you,
Man.
when you're
somebody
dealing
gotta
with
do it.
when you're dealing with kids all day, it takes a special person
Real special person.
and a lot of patience. So I just wanted to shout out Brady Bobb for doing that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you taking care.
I got a lot of patience too, man.
Taking care of the kids.
Because they had patience with me, man.
And I mean, I'm glad you didn't put your foot in no kid ass.
I ain't gonna say that.
Oh.
But off the record.
I edit that part, man. No,
coach,
man.
yeah.
But I'm, you know, it takes a special person to do what teachers do, and you know, just wanted to shout that out to you. I'm glad you had a good year.
I get a lot of my material from them kids too now, though.
I'm sure you do.
My comedy, oh yes, oh my God. Hey.
I'm sure you do.
I get a lot of material from those kids. Yeah.
So do you have teacher-parent conferences? And
No.
You don't do that with mothers and, like, meet the mom?
At the beginning of the year, but after that, them parents, they don't give a damn.
Oh.
It's up to me to make sure that they become successful. And it's cool. Hey, baby, you got to go work. And I tell those kids, you know, hey, mom and dad and them not here. I'm your mom and daddy right now. I'm your daddy right now. So you're going to abide by my rules. And,
Okay.
and I teach them the right thing, man. You know, especially the young black brothers and the Hispanic brothers too. You know, things like, you know, shaking a man's hand with strength. You know, pull your pants up. When you speak to when you speak, have confidence when you speak. Always have your head up. I teach them the basic things they need to become the structure of being a man. So
I'm glad you said that. Before we go around, I'm gonna introduce everybody. I just wanted to talk about that. In fact, let's do that right now. We got Brady Bobb out the way. Go on, everybody introduce each other, and then we're gonna go from there. We're finna come right back to that, and I'm finna talk about this shit because we need to talk about that. Keep going. Let's go, Tony.
Tony Armstrong, security consultant, big time Steeler fan. Can't wait for the NFL and college football to start.
In the last 8 weeks of the NFL season.
Absolutely brutal. It's murderous row. That's what I call it, murderous row.
All right,
Chad Williams here, representing the city of Houston, new employee, enjoying the switching careers, was a FedEx guy for about 20 years. So I'm enjoying this second chapter of my life. Can't wait. I'm enjoying these podcasts. Y'all got to come check out the Den. It's off the chain.
Scott O.
Yeah, I'm Scott Gibbs. I'm a retired Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, current JROTC instructor at Cashmere High School.
The Cashmere High School.
The Cashmere High School. I'm a transplant from Virginia. Been here in Houston about 5 years. Been loving it ever since.
Scott, I didn't realize you was a light bird.
Hold on.
Yes, indeed.
Here they go with this military shit. What we got? Let's go, Ron.
Ron Dye, network engineer, Chicago product. Make sure Tony know that. Here I am.
All right. So, I got my guys. See, this is family right here. This family up here right now. So we're going to talk. And we're going to talk real because this, you know, all these guys that y'all see right now, they're here every day with me. They're hanging out with me. This is family. And I consider them family, like my brothers. I think I'm the youngest out of the whole group, but yeah. But we still some old heads. And we keep it old school at all times. Now back to this school shit. I'm thinking about the black male teachers that I come up with. Not only the teachers, the coaches, the security guys, the janitors. It was a village.
A village, that's right.
And these men, man, sit your ass down back there. Go back next to Ron. Go next to Ron, dog. Go next to Ron.
Chicken George in the house.
Go next to Ron.
What's up, baby?
I'm gonna say something about you in a minute. But we was talking some serious shit, but we're gonna come back to some fucked up shit in a minute with you. Oh, damn. Yeah. You know Cunningham done spilled the beans about something. But anyway, back in the day, we had teachers, coaches, janitors, security guys, black, all black schools. Now they make it harder for those guys. All this testing, teachers, and I get it. You want to test teachers and all that, but we really know the real reason why you did the shit.
Exactly.
Because back in the day, a janitor could be the head basketball coach.
Yeah.
Or the head football coach back in the day. I.e. Coach Carr from Wheatley. He was not a teacher. Fucking janitor. But he was the head coach of the football, of the basketball team.
Word?
Word.
Oh, wow.
So they did that because, and this is my opinion, I'm not saying it for a fact, but this is what I think, and y'all can piggyback behind it. They did that because I believe more black males were able to reach out to younger black males and help them and guide them more than now. See, now it's not, how many black coaches and teachers there now?
Man, at my school, it was 3, and then they downsized, now it's just 1, and the rest white.
See?
Wow. And the rest white, man. 1 black, it was 3 from the young men's. On the young men, on the women's side, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black women coaches. But men coaches, just 3.
Now, I'm a slide it down to Scott, because Scott works at the high school that I graduated from. Back then, it was a majority of black staff because it's a black school. And, of course, all of our coaches were black. Janitors were black. Security was black. What it look like over there now?
Things ain't changed.
They ain't changed.
It ain't changed. It's
So they
still
kept
all
it
black.
the same.
It's
that's
it's
dope.
all black.
That's real dope.
That's dope.
Because when I was going to Casimir, it was, I'm going to say like this, it was like 90% black and 9% Hispanic. 1% Asian.
That has changed.
1% Asian. We had one Asian young lady that went to our school, and the only reason why she went there because her mom and her parents owned the store across the street from the school. And we know how that go. But what I'm saying is, in a lot of these schools, there's not enough black male role models for these young men. I mean, am I wrong?
I agree with you. I'm a product of Northeast Houston. I went to Shadydale Elementary School.
Yeah.
My principal was 6'5", Mr. Wiles. I went to Mount Zion on Homestead with him all through my elementary school, career. Next up was Northwood Middle School, another black school full of black male, coaches. They were just the masculine guide for all those boys. All my friends, we were intimidated by these guys. We respected them.
Yes.
They showed us love. Everybody packed a paddle in their back pocket,
yes.
For us. But it was all love, Moving on to Forest Brook, another
black school?
Black school full of black male.
How many Hispanics y'all had at
We
Forest?
had 3, maybe.
How many whites y'all had?
None.
None.
That I remember.
And we had no whites at our school. Not a one white person at our school.
Yes, sir.
Not a one.
Yes, sir.
We made, like I say, our school was majority black. It had to be at least 90 to 95% black, and the rest was Hispanic. Mm-hmm. My first 2 years, we had an Asian girl there, and then she went to another school after our sophomore year. And the only reason why she went there because her parents owned the store across the street. That was the only reason why.
Yes, sir.
But other than that, it was all black. All black staff. We had some white teachers, not many,
Not many.
but they knew how to deal with us. Because when you're a white teacher going to a black school, you better know how to deal with
I agree.
black kids. Because if not, they're gonna try you.
I believe that they'll come off condescending, even if not on purpose, because they don't know the culture. You know, you have to sort of be ingrained in what certain aspects of this community is. And if you can be an excellent teacher, but if you can't translate it into what they understand, it's gonna go over their heads, and it's gonna be a bad communication error.
So let me say this, because Ron, Tony, and Scott are transplants. Yeah. And they're from another state, another city. When I said that about we had no whites at our school, Tony looked at me like, "Are you for real? Like, really? Like, for real? We had no whites. It was not a white soul except the teachers at our school." I don't know how it feels to go to school with white kids. So it seemed to me like you went to school with white people.
Yeah, I did go to school with white people, and huge learning experience because it prepares you for life. Because once you get out of school, if you're just in one little area, and then now you got to experience the world, you got to be able to compete with those same people.
Yeah.
And this is what I found, is that, first of all, Coach Ball, you guys don't get paid nowhere near enough money. You don't get
Hell
paid
no.
nowhere
Teachers
near
do
enough
not get
money.
paid enough money.
Because,
Well, they are not.
yeah, they're not at all. Not at all.
Well,
And-
we're going to get
and-
to that. We're going to get to that in a
Yeah,
minute. All
but
right.
what I'm saying is that for me, I could consider myself lucky because the fact is that my foundation came from my family before I went to school. So I couldn't go to school acting crazy, doing all that stuff because, you know, my mom or my granddad are going to be all up in me if I did something like that. The challenge that the teachers have today is that the parents is just going to dump the kids on him. Now, not only he's a coach, he's a father figure.
Yeah.
You know, he's a motivator.
Yes.
He's he has to discipline people. Yeah. And that's a hell of a way to learn those type of values as a kid only at school. Because in the summer, he got to let them go.
I got you. Exactly.
You got to let them go.
Yeah.
But, you know, for a kid that's growing up in that part of their life, they need to make sure that they very structure, you know, all the way up through, I would say, junior high, high school. And that's one thing. I actually lived in Japan for a little bit. That's one thing I was kind of impressed with the Asian school over there. It's no summertime, no summer breaks. It's 365 school all year round. And a lot of people wonder, like, man, why in the world the Asian people seem to be more smarter? They just in school longer.
We're going to talk about that, too. We're going to talk about
All
that,
right,
too.
I'm letting it go. No.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about
Yeah.
that, too. Tony, exactly, where are you from?
I grew up in Mississippi. I lived in Pittsburgh for a little
The
bit.
SIP.
Yep, the
Pittsburgh.
SIP. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yep, absolutely. And
The SIP.
we had about 50,000 people, so it wasn't like, you know, out in the backwoods, but there was, you know, that was a pretty good sized population when I was growing up.
Okay. Now, we're going to keep on that same subject because you went to school with white kids.
Yeah.
Ron, did you went to school with white kids?
I went to school probably 65% white, 35% black.
Put the mic up.
I went to school with 65% white, 35% white, blacks.
Okay.
But I grew up in an extremely diverse area. So I had Polish kids, Cuban kids, Mexican kids, Haitian kids, of course, just you name it. But it's
Yeah.
also one of the largest Jewish community. So there was two sides of the fence. There's Asbury Street, which is our North and South Streets separate the filthy rich on one side. That's where all the white people live. And the black people we lived on the west side, they lived on the east side. So fortunately for me, I was exposed to things that I think a lot of folks who grow up in a black area and black schools didn't get exposed to, because you kind of come into this world, you kind of green, and this world is not a black world.
Yeah.
And once you get out of high school and college and what have you, you're dealing with all different group of people. So that's the thing for me. But I do have a question for both you and the educator. Are we losing black teachers because they don't want to teach at black schools, or they find it easier to go to the suburbs and teach at white school and not deal with some of the stuff that goes on? That's just a question.
And I'm going to answer that. So my ex-wife, teacher, she did not want to go to a white school. Number one, they asked for too much. You got to be a robot pretty much at a white school. Now, at the black schools, she really wanted to be at a black school because she wanted to teach her own.
So, Pop, can you just elaborate on that a little bit more? Because you said that they wanted her to be a robot in that sense. What I mean, when you say white school, what do you mean by white school?
No, here's what.
Yeah.
All right, so let's we're just gonna keep it real on this shit.
Yeah.
A black school is more lax, and I'm not saying lax in the way of they let you do any fucking thing you want to, but they're not on your ass all the time like the white schools are. The curriculum that the white school have is different. Like, she would like to teach, I ain't gonna say even her, but I know teachers that would like to teach students real history, not the bullshit.
Exactly.
Not the bullshit that
they want to teach us.
Yeah, that they want to teach you.
That's me.
So that's why they're trying to take black history out of
The curriculum.
out of the curriculum of it. And then that's why they only give you Martin Luther King. They only give you
Rosa Parks.
I
don't do that,
The docile people.
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, I don't teach.
They don't go to Marcus Garvey.
Yes.
Right.
I do.
They don't go to Malcolm X.
I do.
They don't go to the Black Panther Party.
I'm a history teacher.
But you understand what I'm saying, though.
So, Pop, did y'all have black history in school?
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
My 11th grade history teacher, Coach O'Gilvey, he was my baseball coach too. So he went by the book, but he also implemented his own shit.
Exactly. That's me. That's me.
On what history was.
That's me.
Like, when I was a kid, he took a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and a penny, and lined them up next to each other. Did you know the quarter, the dime, and nickel all facing one way?
Yeah.
And the penny is facing the other way? Well, they facing away from him?
Yeah.
From Lincoln?
Yeah.
And why is that? And why is his pen? Why is he 1 cent in brown?
Yeah.
You know exactly the reason why.
I know.
You know
we know
the reason
but
why.
as a kid, I didn't think of that until we actually saw what that was. And my coach, Coach O'Gilvey, taught from bell to bell history.
Yes, bell to
Our
bell.
history.
That's me.
Like, this nigga never stopped talking until the bell stopped, until you get your ass out. But he was a teacher.
Yeah.
He taught us, and he taught us about real history.
Yeah.
We went deep into history. It's a lot of stuff that I didn't know and learned from Coach O'Gilvey,
Yeah.
which to this day still love that man because he taught me about real history. And that's a lot of black schools that do that. a lot of black schools will go deep into real history about us. And that's the one thing I'm so happy that I did go to a black school, because they did teach me. And they was there for me for all of that. That's why I'm happy I went to a black school for that. But to answer the question, the curriculum is different.
The TEKS, it's called TEKS.
Yeah.
The TEKS are very different. Now, just like you went to all black school, I went to all black school.
All black school.
And I could have went anywhere in the world. When I say y'all, the world, I was a 5-star receiver out of Jack Yates. I could have went anywhere in the world, Michigan, Miami, Tennessee, Alcorn State. You know, I could have went anywhere in the world. Those were the top quarterbacks were. McNair, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Miami. I could have went anywhere in the world. But I said, you know, I'm so used to going to a black institution, these black elementary, black high school, black middle school. I went to Ryan Middle School, went to Yates. I went to black college. I said, you know what, I'm going to a HBCU. And I dedicated my life. It cost me, you know, now if I was going to HBCU now, I probably would be, but it cost me millions. When I say millions, because people was like, why are you going to Kentucky State University? You can go anywhere you want in the world. I chose that school because of I am used of my black people.
And y'all went to state too.
Yeah, we went to state.
Y'all went to state.
Yeah, we went to state.
Yeah.
My junior year. And so, you know, to be honest with you, man, it's kind of like, you know, me as a teacher, I do exactly what he said. I know I got to teach this, but I'm gonna give y'all some of this real history too. When I say in my school, kids do not skip my class, it's not because I'm making it mandatory for them to come to my class. They want to come. They want to because the way I teach is you're engaging, and when I say engaging, they love how I teach. And they were like, man, I did not know that, Coach Bob. I ain't know that stuff, man. I didn't know that for real. And so they were like, man. So when I have a high attendance rate in my classroom and I have control over these kids, man, I mean, I was taught from the old black teacher.
Right.
I was taught. So I have those same characteristics of a Mr. Richardson that was around. He was 6'9". The board, he gonna have that big old board in the back pocket.
I like that board.
You know, I was Mr. Ryan my 8th grade year. So, you know, those I had those type of teachers that pushed me, those black teachers that pushed me to be great.
Yeah.
Man, you gonna be great. You're not gonna be great. And then they had it whereas that our parents bought into our teacher system. Yeah. Because the parents already knew, my mother and my father and the village that raised me, hey man, if we get any calls or anything, we gonna bust his ass, and you also can bust his ass too.
Yeah, same here.
You understand?
Yeah, same here.
Coach, let me ask you something, because again, I didn't have the privilege to go to an all-black school, nor that even in college I didn't go to an all-black school. Let me ask you this here: do you feel today that by being in an all-black school, do you see where you guys are preparing these kids for the real world, to be more competitive, understanding nothing's going to be given to you? You know, you got to fight and compete for a job and stuff like that, and not just depend on the color of your skin, but now you got to really depend on what's between your ears. Tell me elaborate a little bit more on getting kids ready to be grown.
To be honest with you, and I taught high school also, but I'm digging into the basics early, middle school. I'm in the middle school now, because if I can get them right now in that middle school, I can mold them.
And because they're a sponge.
They're a sponge. Yeah, you're right. If I can mold them right now in middle school, I'll prepare them for the real world. And that's what I'm doing
I'm
early.
I'm gonna say this. I went to Key Middle School, all black.
All black. Yeah.
All black middle school. And there was a coach that I looked up to named Coach Tony Jones. May he rest in peace. He just died about a year or two ago. He was he ended up leaving teaching and becoming a firefighter. And I looked up to him. I see him, he built, walking around and looking good. I could tell all the female teachers are like, "Oh, Coach Jones, Coach." Man, I want to be that. Like, I want that look.
Yeah.
But you look up to those teachers, and what I'm about to say is this: those kids are looking at you, even with how your hair is and all that, and what they're saying is, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
he got tattoos, he got his hair like damn, I
can do that too.
could do that too."
Yeah. And I preach that to them. Man, look at me. I'm from the slums. I'm from the bottom. I'm from Third Ward, Texas. They did not expect me to do nothing. I have friends that ain't. I tell my kids, turn to your left, turn to your right. Some people in here 20 years from now, that's not going to be here. I made it. And I come to school in the way that they are, showing them that, hey, man, I'm just like y'all. I was in those same desks as y'all.
Yeah.
It's hard because a lot of these kids, they not like us. They not built at all like us. And it's sad, but I find a way to get to them. And when I get to them, a light bulb click in their head like, oh, okay, all right, I see what you're saying, Coach.
Ron, look like you got something to say. What you want to say?
Let me address the black school, white school thing. I, of course, as I mentioned, I grew up in a predominantly white school. My counselor was a black man, Mr. Sanders. At the time when I was in high school, it was considered the top high school in the country, Everson Township High School. I was a 4.8 GPA student on a 4.0. I was always a fairly intelligent and applicable person. My counselor told me, you have a nice smile, you can get a good job.
Damn.
Never promoted education or anything else to me. So we have to be careful about this, the disparity between the white and the black schools, because the black teachers in a lot of the black schools are pushing the white kids to succeed while they still try to suffocate us. So that's the one point I want to make. The other point I want to make, and I'll turn over the mic. Growing up in the area I did, there's things I never learned in life. First of all, I didn't hear the N-word until I watched Roots. That's the first time I ever heard it. They didn't use it around me. But the thing that probably bothered me more than anything else, it wasn't until I came home from college and my mother and father would watch WGN and Lou Ross was hosting a telethon. And it said UNCF. Didn't know what the heck it stood for at the time. Then they started talking about the United Negro College Fund and all that stuff. I wish I was fortunate enough to have been exposed at least to our history growing up. So after Roots, I studied about the Stephen Biko and Nelson Mandela and Joe Jackson and Harold Carmichael and all those people. But it's unfortunate. I didn't know about Juneteenth until 7 years ago when I moved here, telling a friend, today's my son's birthday. His birthday is June 19th. And he said, Juneteenth. I said, yeah, June 19th. And we went back and forth. Then he said, you don't know what Juneteenth means. So it's unfortunate how the predominantly white institutions suffocate our history. And the people around us, and in my case was even worse because I came from a foreign environment. My father is French, my mother is Haitian. So my history is so different. And not having that exposure, I really wish I had that exposure, or at least people that did attend black schools that I was around more to at least learn my history and my education. I did learn it later on, but I just want to throw that in. And kudos to you, brothers, for teaching and promoting the true history of this world, because everything in this world started with or somehow black.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, Ron, that's a great point. And my whole thing is that, and I think this is what is missing, especially when it comes to our race, is that it's the home foundation that's missing.
Yeah.
And when I say missing, I'm talking about the home foundation where that you do have a man, a role model, as a role model. I don't care if it's your father or grandfather or some uncles, because that's who I was raised by. My father got killed in Vietnam, so my grandfather stood up. My uncles, who was 10, 15 years older than me, stood up. And I'm talking about some super smart dudes. One was a rocket scientist for NASA. Other one was an educator. And I just think that a lot of times, Pop, when you're looking at kids today, and this is just what I see today. My kids are out of high school now and out of college. But what I see today is that we're still missing that foundation at the house. And when you miss that foundation at the house, it really can disrupt your overall career as you're going up, until you run into a coach like this here who reel you back in and say, hey, listen, let me put you back on the right track here.
Yeah.
But us as a community, as blacks, and I always say this because I work in corporate America, is that you better be ready for competition. If you want a job, nobody gonna give you any damn thing. You got to go out here and fight, scratch, and just take what you want. Even when I was in the military, in the Marine Corps, one of the things in the Marine Corps at the time when I was in, Scott, was the fact that it was only probably about 5%, maybe at best 7% blacks in the Marine Corps. But the thing about it is that you have to have that mindset of competition. As much as we want to be given stuff, we got to go damn near take stuff.
Take it. Yeah.
And you have to have that mindset, because if you don't have that mindset, you sit back and you're waiting on the government to do something for you when you can actually go out and do it for yourself. I'm not saying that the government is bad. I'm just saying that it's a mindset.
Hold on 1 second. Brady Bobb, hold that thought. Scott, gonna say what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And after you, we're going to take a quick break. Everybody can eat a little something, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to go back into the mindset and the father figures and, things of that nature as far as the school system and what we look, just about what we're talking about, because this is good shit right now.
Great shit. Great.
Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
Most definitely. This is a good topic that we're talking about. What I want to elaborate on for you, Tony, is I think the mindset has changed because the dynamic of the household has changed. My frat brother would truly understand this when I tell you excuses are monuments of nothing. That build bridges to nowhere.
Hey, before you keep going, I got to say this here. I had a teacher in the 8th grade. I'm going to let you finish talking. My favorite teacher of all times. Her name was Miss Louise Bailey. Miss Bailey taught that key when it was cashmere, original cashmere. Miss Bailey taught that key for 40-some years. Same classroom, same everything. She used to say that same exact quote. Excuses are a monument or nothing.
Exactly.
Wow. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
They build bridges to nowhere. Those who use these tools of incompetency are fools and masters of nothing. And I said all this to say, my old man went to Howard University when he was 15 years old. And it seemed, what he explained to me when he was in his English class, he said, look here, the teacher told him, the author gets an A, I give it a B, the best you're going to get in here is a C. And it lets you know right up front what you was going to have to do to achieve something and to get somewhere. And I've been blessed to be in a household where, my parents have all been together. There was no separation. There wasn't, I'm dealing with a mother who's younger, little bit younger, having to do a couple things. It was a dual income household, but they were striving to make some things work. My background is interesting. It's quite interesting. I went to a private school up until about 6th grade. I went to a private school. From there, of course, it got to be a little bit more expensive. When it got time for me to transition over, they brought me into they had moved in the suburbs by that time because I grew up, we were more or less in the hood a little bit, but the old man, he got his promotions, did some stuff. He took us out. So I got into the suburbs. Went out there, went to my first suburban school, saw a lot of white people. I was, educated in the white system. From there, we moved into the inner city a little bit. So it was an inner city school, but still more predominantly white, not exactly black. But when I got there, I got to be exposed to a lot of stuff I hadn't seen, for some time, and felt like an outsider to them because much like you guys, and I see you guys talk about every now and then, it's like, hey, we all grew up in the same hood. We've known each other from Key all the way up. Here's this outsider coming, who are you? And I understood I was black, but when you look at me sometimes, it gets confusing. I get it. And I was the outcast. When I tell you I had to work so hard just to get some acceptance within that, but I didn't care. I just I'm going to stay with this because this is who I am. And then when I got out, my father said, hey, look, why don't you go to Howard, stay here, do this, do that. But, I did want to stress that I went on to play soccer. Unlike, I know most of the other brothers here, you wouldn't think at that time, there wasn't no brothers playing soccer. I can count how many black people were playing soccer in the entire league probably, and it just wasn't like that. But I excelled in it, was able to attend Virginia Commonwealth University, and predominantly PWC, and get a scholarship there and play soccer. And that was probably the most urban of all the schools in Virginia. I mean, I think they had more blacks on that campus than Virginia Union, Virginia State, and maybe even Norfolk State combined at that time. But I think that dynamic, Tony, get back to that dynamic within the household chain, because what I see now, it's not a fair representation of how I was raised and how I was brought up. Now I see a lot of these students, they're living with their grandparents. Their grandparents watching them half the time.
Yeah.
The moms has to be at work half the time. They have to actually go out and work. I have never come across a time when I've seen a sports where I can't go to practice. I coach soccer as well. I can't go to practice because I got to go work today. If you missed practice when we was going up, you didn't play.
You didn't play.
You wasn't playing. Not only that, you didn't play 2 sports within the same season. You either played one or you played the other. You had to commit yourself to something. I liked running track, but track was the same time as soccer season.
Yeah, it is.
Was coming up, and I couldn't do it. It wasn't no matter. You make up your mind. What are you going to do? Now you've got coaches, at least I know at Kashmere, where I've got students that are on the soccer team, on the track team, on the baseball team. They're all being shared across the board.
Well, and we're gonna after I say this, we're gonna take a quick break. I got food for us, and the reason being, those schools like Kashmere, the enrollment is so small. These kids, they have no choice but to share these kids. Now back before I got there, you had enrollment of 15 to 2,000 kids, so you could pick the litter. You had to pick of the litter, and by the time I got there, we was in 4A. So you still had a nice sized group, but not like how a Bel Air would be, or not like how a Lamar would be, with 2,000-3,000 kids that you don't have to share no kids. Especially right now with Kashmere, with the enrollment being so low, yeah, they have to share those kids. And, you got kids that have to play football, basketball, baseball. They have to play all of these sports because they don't have enough kids to make up for those sports.
But what I hear as a result of that, not to cut you off, what I hear as a result of that, though, what's hurt us because of that? Nowadays, even when I was coaching in Manning, South Carolina, I was coaching the soccer team down there. What I've discovered now, I'll quit. I quit. They'll be out there if they're not playing or they feel as though, well, I am the shit necessarily.
better,
you need me. You don't have the real skilled players that you might need. They're not showing up, and they feel it's okay to walk away and just give up. Quitting was never in the vocab.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ever quit anything. Yeah. If you committed, my mom said, you committed, you're going to play it all the way out. Yeah. You're going to play it all the way out. And then you can make your decision next year what it is that you want to do. But that hurt me when I first started hearing that. Was like, I quit. And just walk away like it ain't nothing to do it.
Well, when we get back, you got something to say, Tony?
Real quick, I got a question because, like I said, I didn't grow up in a big inner city school. Is that I'm kind of curious why Houston, if you're getting depleted with kids at one school, why the city or the county do not merge high schools together so you don't have to have the situation where you got kids playing 5 different sports.
Yeah,
to just try to compete at that time.
When we come back, we're gonna pick up from right there, and I'm gonna answer those questions, and because it is a lot going on with the inner city schools, and that we all need to know about. If you don't already know, we're gonna talk about that. So when we get back, we're gonna talk about it. Let's eat a little something right quick. We're gonna be right back, man. All right, man. So, look. So we back. And first of all, I want to shout out to our sponsors, Brock Brand. Go get your Brock Brand, brockbrand.com. Nice gear. Also, Quad Houston, good food, good drinks, good vibes, good people. It's just all good. And also, right here at the Den, what we're doing right now as men, I got my family. This is family right here, and we got some old brothers out there that didn't make it with us, and we already know. They busy, they doing other things. People like Cunningham probably somewhere else scratching his balls and and doing some other stuff. Vic probably still wondering why did I about to get married and shit like that. So, but we're gonna come back to our brothers. And Les, ain't no telling what Les doing.
Out the country.
Yeah. Nah, man, what we was talking about, we've been talking about the school system and the difference between black and white schools. And it is good that I have brothers that went to white schools and a lot of us brothers that went to black schools. Now, before we transition, we were talking about why the schools don't merge and why. So the original in Houston, we're gonna talk about Houston because that's what I know. The original black schools in Houston, Booker T. Washington, Wheatley, Yates, and Cashmere. Those were the closest inner city. They was all pretty much in the loop, inside the loop of 610. So they were the original schools. And then it branched off to other schools like Worthing, Jones. Jones was a white school, but Worthing and other schools like that. Forest Brook. So, Sterling. So what happened was, when we graduated and moved on, started getting good jobs, careers, and stuff like that, of course we don't want to stay in the hood no more. We want to move out. On the north side, we're gonna talk about the north side, then I'm gonna say the south side. On the north side, you got Wheatley, Cashmere. We're gonna say northeast. Wheatley, Cashmere, Smiley, Forest Brook, black schools. We moved out to Humble, Atascocita, Kingwood, Porter, New Caney. We moved out that way. So what happened was, when we moved out, those inner city schools started suffering. and they got smaller. Atascocita, Summer Creek, which is in Humble, just went to state in football. They got their ass whooped, but they just went to state in football. Atascocita boys track team, I think, just won state.
Yeah.
Them motherfuckers ran a 10-2.
They're second fastest ever in the country.
So what I'm saying is, when you go out there, the parents went to Smiley, Forest Brook, Cashmere, Wheatley, even look at North Shore. We branched out that way in those schools, from those schools. Booker T, all these schools that turned black, they done went out. Spring, Woodlands, on the south side, Yates, Worthing, Sterling, Jones, all of those black schools went out to Pearland, Manville, Shadow Creek. So all we did was started making money and moved out. Yeah. And now those schools getting all the athletes, getting all the better athletes as far as, blacks kids. That's all that happened. Remember when we talked about segregation? Was it good or bad?
Yeah.
And I said it was a bad thing because I think it was good for us because we stuck together as a people more. We had people that disagree, not many, but had people that disagree. But we had no choice but to go to those schools, and that's what made us strong. That's why for years, Wheatley, Cashmere, Yates, all of them, that's why they were whooping people's ass all throughout the state of Texas, because they had all the athletes.
Right.
Yeah.
But what happens is you move them out. Now they're going to these white schools. Now we're seeing these white schools
emerge.
Yeah. That's how it happened.
Yeah, when integration happened in the early 1950s, we talk about the movement of Dr. King. I am an alpha.
Well, I'm gonna say this before I'm gonna stop you real quick.
Okay, no problem.
So our integration really didn't start to the 60s.
Yeah.
It really didn't. So
65.
we still wasn't able to.
We're talking about the mind frame of wishing. Yeah,
Okay.
came to South.
Well, I'm just saying.
That's
Well,
all I was
yeah.
saying.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm in the control.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally. So when I was hitting at, you have a great synopsis of what you just said about the integration of blacks. You understand? It even goes as far as Tulsa, Oklahoma, about the Black Wall Street. We didn't depend on no other race but our own, and even in the Houston area, you got to understand what happens. What you just said, it happens when those people got money, like you said, they moved out, and that's what hurt us. But when we integrated with whites, they knew it was already a plan. Okay, we're gonna take the smartest black kids. They already tested them, right, the best, and we're gonna segregate those kids and bring them even in with us. When you look at, I went to school in Mississippi. I went to college in Mississippi too, Kahoma, historical black community college. Right. You got to even look at that situation. When they brought, they went and scouted the best black athletes, because when they played against the black athletes, they whooped them and everything. So they were like, well, we got to get us a black, somebody black on our team. Superior. But you got to understand, when going through those things back in the day, did it really help us or did it hurt us? In my mind, it hurt us.
And Coach, I agree with you 1,000% that it hurt us.
It hurt us.
I agree with that, because if you go back and look at black businesses before integration, they was thriving, absolutely thriving. And once integration happened, it diluted everything. And a lot of time, what we forget sometimes, we're only 13% of the population in the U.S. 13%.
Yeah.
13%. So every 100 people you see, 13 are only going to be black.
Yeah.
And that 13 hold a powerful punch if it came. Oh, my God.
But we're the biggest spender. Now, brother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Economically.
I want you to elaborate, if you don't mind, Pop.
Sure.
Something you just touched on. Now, I was just, not this weekend, last weekend was the Black Cigar Week.
Yes.
The following weekend was the Black Wall Street. And I think it's unfortunate how many of our people don't know about Black Wall Street. Can you please elaborate and explain to them what that's all about?
Sure. Well, you got to understand the whole thing about land, about when I say land, property. Blacks, if you tell us we can't do something, what we gonna do? We're gonna do it.
And we're gonna accomplish it.
We're gonna accomplish it. You understand? And with the Black Wall Street, hey man, you had a group of guys that came together and said, hey man, we're not gonna wait for our mule and 40 acres, man. We're gonna go get it. We're gonna buy it. And when the other races found out that our black money was generating amongst us, it hurt their economy. That was the whole key about the economy, and it's all about money. It's all about the money. You understand? And the Black Wall Street was, you had the doctors, you had their own lawyers, and when you was going to these top black schools, you had the black educators that didn't allow you to fail. It was about motivating you to do your best, because you're going to be up against not even their best. You have to be 10 times better than their worst, just even to get accepted in life. So those teachers taught us life. Those teachers were life teachers amongst the educational system, and they also taught them how to not get lynched. You know, I teach the Willie Lynch in my school. Right. Mm-hmm. I teach it to them.
They need to know that.
They need to know where it came from, what this stemmed from.
Let me ask you this: have you ever showed them the documentary 13?
Yes, I just did.
I don't know if y'all ever seen the documentary 13, and I'm gonna watch it again. But it's because it's been some years since I watched it. But Netflix got the documentary 13, and it's deep.
Deep.
It's really, really deep, brother.
Really deep. You know, and when he was talking about the Black Wall Street, you had your doctors, you had your lawyers, you had your own newspaper, you had grocery stores, you had your own everything, insurance company.
And like I said, I'm gonna go back to saying segregation hurt us, dog.
It did. Yeah. It did. Hurt us.
I'd rather be with my people all the time, because we had to lean on each other back then. We had to protect each other back then.
Even Dr. Martin Luther King said, "I led my people into
a burning house."
To a burning house. He even acknowledged it.
He said, "I think I'm leading my people into a burning house." Yeah. Go ahead, Terrence.
Thank you. I'm not gonna say I disagree with us saying that integration hurt us, because if we talking about 2024, right now, we are sitting in a business establishment that is owned by African American. And if we go down the street here and go across there and we go over to Old Spanish Trail, I'm just using those as an example, the majority of the business owners over there are African American, with the exception of probably the gas stations and so forth. But I'm saying there has been progress. You know what I'm saying? And so forth. Now, if we're looking at it from a historical perspective, yes, integration did hurt us. But yet and still, we prevail. I'm
going to say this here. Yeah. As a black business owner, and I know all the business owners up and down the street, we as owners have gotten together to come together, it ain't no bickering, ain't no fighting, and ain't none of that, because we understand the acknowledgement. When we acknowledge this street, that it's all of us on this street, to shine that light on people to come to the street and party with us and eat and break bread with us and things like that, we understand that, hey, we can make this money together. Not, oh, nah, don't go down there, don't fuck with them and don't do this, don't do that. No. Come here, you come here and eat, have a drink, and you can go down the street and party a little bit more, or you can go down there and have a drink or whatever and come down here. But that's how we look at it. And you don't have a lot of black men to come together like we're doing and trying to make money together and trying to keep our people together. That's a huge difference in what because when we first got this building, we had a lot of bullshit happening on the street with motherfuckers not trying to see us succeed in opening in this building. And they were black.
Oh, yeah.
And they were black.
Well, that's the Willie Lynch. That's Willie Lynch.
But we didn't look at it. We didn't look at it as competition. We're looking at it as we're just new kids on the block. And hey, what we got to do to make all this shit work? Now, here's the kick of all of that. And I ain't got to say no names. You hear the rumors and you hear what's going on. Ain't no names got to be said. But those same people are now nowhere to be found on this block. Just saying. But the ones who did come together are still succeeding together. Yeah. And that's all we ask for. Yeah. Hey, let's do this shit together. You know, even though there's another restaurant or bar down the street, we still fuck with each other.
Support them, yeah.
If there's another cigar lounge down the street, hey man, what you got going on down there? What you got going on down there? Last night, man, late last night I went and had a sit down with, I call him the Godfather, with Bars. And it was a man-to-man talk about the business, what we got to do as business owners on this street. And it made a lot of sense. Fuck all that, you making more money than me and you making money. We can all make money. There's how many black folks in Houston?
Right. Yeah. So it's about what, probably 2.9 million.
I mean, there's a lot of people here. You're not gonna get the whole 2.9 million.
You're not getting 10% of it.
You're not even getting 10% of that shit. You're probably getting point something.
Yeah, point 0.7, 0.00.
But what I'm saying is, one thing about it, I like being with you brothers every day and talking. And this is how we talk on a daily. This ain't no show shit. Yeah. We just got microphones in front of us right now.
Yes, sir.
We talk this type of shit every day that people don't understand or know us or know what goes on here. This is what we do. But as black men, I feel like we got to put all the ego shit aside.
Yes, sir.
And coming together, yeah, we could talk that shit about coming together, but are we really going to do that?
Yeah.
Well, I see, you guys have the shirt, "We Are Almeda." That in itself is prophetic, because what you're doing is saying we're one group, one community, one organization. We stand together, we gonna fall together.
Yeah.
And just to elaborate a little bit on Black Wall Street.
Exactly. I was just here.
The history of Black Wall Street, if people know it, it was the wealthiest community in America until they set it on fire and killed over 800 people.
Yeah.
The second biggest community in America was in Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah.
And in the 70s, they dropped, literally the first time America dropped a bomb on America,
yeah,
was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Black community that was thriving, and we was doing things that they couldn't. So the thing is this, and I've always said this, and I was fortunate to be raised with Rhodes Scholars and all that. The most intelligent people in the world are people of color. Not only are we intelligent,
of course,
we have common sense,
of course,
we have survival sense, and we have the sense that because we've had to overcome so much that's all we know. We're fighters.
Yeah.
I started coming to this place. This place wasn't open. We sat outside and smoked and drank, sometimes from 5 o'clock in the evening till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I rode with my younger brother, and I'm going to ride with him forever. Because not only is this my lounge, this is my little brother. We talk to each other outside of this place. We care for each other. We look out for each other. And as black men, we have to get back to that, because in order for us to fix our community, we have to fix the relationship among us.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead,
that's a great point, Ronald. And my whole thing, Pop, when I say competition, getting ready for real life, is that we all, as humans, black men, the fact is that we make money all outside of the den. We all make money outside the den. But we have a choice of where we spend our money.
Exactly.
Now, me as a person, this establishment, I love this establishment, not just because it's close to my house, but the fact is that, hey, if I'm going to spend money,
might as well.
I'm going to spend it on you guys.
Might as well.
I'm going to spend it on you guys.
Thank you.
Because I have a choice when it comes down to that. Now, maybe I don't see a whole lot of black businesses in my space, dealing in corporate America, and so we have choices. And I think where some of the downfall happens sometimes is that once we get to a point, then we start thinking we better than somebody.
Yeah.
But guess what? You always got to go back home.
Yes.
Where I can sit back and have this conversation with some brothers. Doesn't matter where I make my money at.
Yeah.
It's where I spend my money.
Yeah.
That's important.
Well, to elaborate on what you're saying is the whole key is education. If we don't educate each other and educate and fellowship, and getting the BANs, weeding them out, and that's what happened. And the Almighty gonna weed that out. You understand? As long as you keep doing what you're supposed to do and acknowledging a brother that's doing something positive, hey man, it's gonna come back to you. So education is the key. And I always tell those kids that, man, if you can't, because I learn every day. I'm 50. I'll be 49 this year, but I learn I learn something new every day. I read and try to educate myself every day. Man, even in my family and friends, they get mad at me because I try to accomplish doctorate degree, and you think you didn't? No, I'm just trying to. You got the same 24 hours I have. Right. So my thing is, I'm gonna educate myself and then try to help another generation. Because what happened is it was a generational curse when the Wi-Fi came in and took away the black man away from the household, and we are really feeling that demise 50 years later. But since we have this money and we can do what we need to do, it's up to us now to come back to be like a black Wall Street. And if you look at it, this is a black street right here, in a black predominant neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
You understand? This is a melting pot. If you look back 50, 60 years ago, 70 years before we even was thought of, this is where all the black people hung out at. Yeah.
And also, Coach, when you look at other races,
yes,
look at the Asian race.
Yes.
Where do you spend their money at?
With them.
And
Hey, you look at when you look at the
Chinatown.
middle. What are they spending money at?
With them.
right there on
with them.
Bel Air.
Yes,
Now
sir.
they might make their money outside of that,
Yes, sir.
but they bring it back home.
Bring it back
Always.
home.
And you know there was a statistic that came out talking about how a dollar rotate in a community.
Yep.
That in the Asian community, a dollar rotate 82 times throughout that community before it goes back out.
Right.
Wow.
So you can make your money anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you never come back home and support, then you know what? You're doing a disgrace. And I know a lot of guys that won't do that. And I just don't understand. They'll sit back and they complain about, oh, man, what they do. No, brother, you're not doing your part.
Yeah.
Do your part, and guess what? We can make this whole thing thrive, you know. And I just love what you guys do here, man, because I made a commitment to myself is that if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to spend it right here.
I do that too.
I'm going to spend it right here.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch me down, you know, in some other establishment in Asia Town where they don't even want your ass at half the time.
About it, Tony.
You know, I'm going to spend it here. Now, where I make my money, that's where I make my money. But how I spend my money
Exactly.
is more important.
And they know
Something to
that.
say about that, Tony. I got something to say about
What you
that.
got? Go
You know
ahead.
what? Can I go ahead?
Go ahead,
Go
Terrence.
ahead, Terrence.
You know, I want to pick back on something Pop said earlier. You know, the biggest issue that we have when it comes to black business is perception. That it ain't nothing but nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? But what we got going on here down the street in OST is overcoming that. You know what I'm saying? Once we trust where we at and find out that these type of establishments that we're at are professional establishments and professionally ran, then here we are, you know, and so forth. Now, we still don't have a black prime when it comes to construction, but we'll talk about that later, you know.
Let me just say one more thing. And Pops, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay.
We touch on communities. If you go down on Bel Air, that's the Chinese community,
Yeah.
the Asian. Do you see a single black shop in that community? Do
Not
you
at
see
all.
a single white shop in that community?
Not at all.
So our problem is this. This is a black community. Why isn't Shipley a black Shipley donut? Why can't we come together and buy a Shipley and put a black Shipley donut? Why can't we come together and buy a Chick-fil-A and put a black Chick-fil-A? Because they have all that on Bel Air.
Yeah, they do.
So our problem is we're so docile. We allow any and everybody to infiltrate our community. And here's the last point I'm going to make. I'm going to have a Chinese restaurant right here and a chicken shop that's right here. We going to go to the Chinese man and spend our money, and even the chicken shop owner going to go support the Chinese. But the Chinese ain't coming into the chicken shop.
No, they're not.
We need to stop supporting people that don't support us. And until we get that mentality and that understanding and run them out of our community's going to suffocate.
Okay.
That. Go ahead.
We want to make sure that we send a message of when we speak about the Asian community, we are not bashing, but we are celebrating the effort
Exactly.
that community makes toward itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
The point I wanted to say was, in fact, Ronnie, you touched on it. Everybody in this place, we all eat out with our families, and I spoke about this on this podcast before, about these big restaurants. If you go to whatever restaurant where large groups eat, have any of us ever seen a large Asian or, you know, Asiatic family there eating? We see Hispanic, we see black families, we've even seen white families, but those families circulate their dollars, like Tony was
Within their
saying,
community.
back into their community. Back on the segregation part of our community, the success, and Pop, you hit the nail on the head, our success spreaded us out so far amongst our communities because we looked over the bushes at those what we felt were better communities, and when we did better, we moved our families. I was raised on the northeast side of town off Homestead, Tidwell,
Lower Copy area, there were thriving businesses there. A large big box store called Kmart here left that community and left a big empty space there.
Yeah.
But other foreigners who came in opened what was called a K-Bargain, which was a flea market. But inside of K-Bargain were a lot of independent black-owned establishments that sold to their own community. Right. And that community, it strived for a long time, But as Pop said, I moved out of that community. I didn't raise my kids in that community. And the high school that I went to, we were talking about merging those schools. Forest Brook and Smiley were the high schools of North Forest Independent School District. The attendance was so low and corruption at the top of that district that it was forced to close its doors, and HISD took over that. They shut down Forest Brook after Hurricane Harvey, and all the kids moved to Smiley. Well, they renamed Smiley High School to North Forest High School. My high school, Forest Brook High School, is now a middle school.
Yeah.
And it's under HISD now. That K-Bargain Center is just a ghost town. There is no business in that entire area, and that Northeast community is suffering.
And not only that area, not only by that area, there's no grocery stores in that area. No grocery store.
It's a food desert.
It's a food desert. They got to drive.
All the way to Tascasita.
They got from Homestead. They got to drive from Homestead to 59 in Little York to the nearest grocery store, which is Fiesta and the Hispanic.
It used to be a Sack and Save over
there.
Yeah,
they got to drive up
and
there.
I celebrate you guys as black business owners,
Right.
as far as upping the level of what we consider the nigger shit or ghetto businesses, because everything about the Quad and the Den and other establishments on Almeda is that it's top tier.
Absolutely.
You guys have put top dollar into luxury. We are sitting on fabulous leather seats. Everything about this establishment is top tier and is black owned, and that's something that I'm very proud of you for, bro.
I appreciate
Pop, do you know about
I'm also
the
real proud of you,
HEB?
Pops, and that organization. Let me just make this quick point. I challenge you guys that travel. As you travel, go to every community in America that's the hood. Every community in America that's the hood. I want to make a point here, and I love my brother. I love him, and he knows this. This is the only, hear what I'm saying, across the country. You can travel anywhere across the country. This is the Quad Restaurant is the only black sit-down restaurant in the country that's in the hood. I challenge anybody to go travel around the country. This is the only black restaurant.
That's true.
That's 4 to 5 star that sits in the hood.
Yeah.
I don't know if Pops know this, but I'm telling you, what you, Justin, and Brock did for this community, if we only knew what you guys have put into this and what you guys have done, man, this place here, there shouldn't be a day that this place is empty. This is the only sit-down restaurant, not just a beautiful restaurant. If you haven't ate here, give it a chance. Try the food here.
Thank you, Ron.
Try the food here. The food here is off the chain.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But
Ron.
we'll go to Steak 48 and spend $100. Now they got $100 minimum per person.
Yeah.
But we come here, we complain, or we paying X amount for this and that. But what he's given us, what these brothers have given us, we don't even realize what we have, and we never know what we have until it's gone.
Appreciate you.
Do you guys know the story of why HEB is on 288? You guys ever heard about the story of?
Well, they left from OST and Scott.
Right, they left from OST and Scott, but they was not really to come. They did not want to come to this location. I have to give credit to Dwight Borkins and that fight they had to do to get the HEB there.
Shout out to the white boy.
Yes, absolutely. And what I'm saying is that once they decide that, okay, then we're going to go ahead and invest in a grocery store in this community, guess what? One of the top revenue HEBs in the country. Okay? So, again, my whole point is you can make your money anywhere.
Yeah.
It's how you spend your money
Yeah.
is the most important thing. And if you don't dump it back into the community, dump it back into black-owned businesses, then guess what? How do black-owned businesses survive?
Well, and just elaborate on what you all was talking about. Me as an individual, I took a pledge. I don't spend unless it's black. I took a pledge probably about 3 years ago. I said, man, I'm going to just spend black on. And it makes me feel better as a man to know that I'm really living what I said I was going to do. I took that pledge. So, like he said, I challenge y'all to take a pledge. And then even pass the word on. When we get in these black establishments, don't be like, oh, man, and they mess up one time. You want to go somewhere else. Right. No, you got to give them a chance. You got to understand. Some people don't know, your experience. You got to let people know, okay, if you got a waitress that's not up to par how you feel, you put them to the side. Hey, listen, this is what you need to do. And I'm not trying to, tell you what to do. I'm just trying to show you how to make this business flourish amongst inside of what is going on as a whole. You understand? And when you hiring people that understand, hey, man, we all a team, ain't no iron team. You understand? And so that's what I did. I took a pledge. I took a morally pledge to say, man, you know what? I'm spending black every single day. Yeah.
So that was years ago. I don't know what presidential candidate it was. And he talked about reparations. And this is during the time that the economy was fucked up. And I agree with it. He said, you give black people reparations, the economy will blow right back up because we the ones that spend a lot of money. If you think about it, if you gave every black person in America that's American born $1 million, you know what the hell it's going to do? The economy going to go through the freaking roof. You got Cadillac going to be #1 fucking dealership. It is, because everything going to go out and try to get Escalade. People going, I'm just saying, I mean, am I lying?
Yeah. Hey, Pop, it's funny that Dwight and I had a conversation about reparations. And one of the things that we all agreed on, okay, yeah, absolutely, must happen. But here's the thing about it also, is that you just can't dump $1 million on someone who never know how to manage that money.
Education.
Education. Financial education. Yeah. So my whole stipulation was, and this was mine if I was running for office, is I was going to do reparations. If I had the time to hand it out to everybody, is that you must get educated on financial education before you get your money.
But why does that have to apply to us?
You know why, Terrence?
No, wait, hold on.
No, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
You asked me a question.
Tell
I'm going to tell you
why.
why.
Okay. Tell me why.
Is because the fact is, when you look at property owners, property land run this country, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Chinese have come over here and took over so much. And so if you don't know how to invest your money.
That's not what you said. You said they had to be educated.
I said education, yeah. So understanding education from a financial point of view, how to run, how to understand credit.
Say that. But don't say they have to be educated.
No. I'm saying that.
About the financial.
Yeah. Okay. No. I'm saying that it must be educated.
I'm saying when you tell folks that this is how they need to apply their money, be specific in what you're talking about.
Now, what I'm saying? My specific is.
Hold on, but I'm going to say this here, though. I'm going to say this here. Now, you're right. Black people do need education on finances.
Right.
We do.
Exactly.
Come on.
And I understand what you're saying.
Right.
But here's what I'm going to say.
Especially with credit.
No, listen to me. if you gave every black person in America $1 million,
Be spent.
that's something that they want. And I'm going to tell you the reason why they want it. Because they know we some dumbasses. I'm not saying all of us.
Right, but the majority.
I'm just saying the majority of black people, we some dumbasses. We're going to go out and we're going to spend it. We're going to, every fucking penny, we're going to spend it.
Right. And you be right back in the situation.
But we don't know. But see, on the other hand, they know it is some of us that are educated and know what to do with the money and know what we're going to do with it. So that's the part they're afraid of.
Pops, let me touch on something, and you raise a great point. Everybody here is raising a good point. I think the big problem with, and I don't want to sound or come across as if I'm saying something to downgrade anybody. When we look at foreigners, the reason foreigners do so well when they come to this country, you have to understand that annual, hear the word annual, I didn't say monthly, weekly, the annual income in Haiti is $325 a year. Let me repeat that. The annual income in Haiti is $325 a year. The annual income in Jamaica is $700 a year. The annual income in Mexico is under $600 a year. So these folks come from nothing. So every little bit you give them, they take it and value it. But we have to look at the narrative for what it is. Every single system that's in place today was created by African American and African people of color. Because when families moved here, here's what happened. 30 years, 40 years ago, a family moved. They came and stayed at your mama's house, my mama's house. We didn't put them out.
Right.
We didn't force them out.
Right.
We didn't give them a time frame. We got them a job where we worked at. We helped them get on their feet. When they saved enough money, they bought a house. Then they bought a family, and you bought a family. Now we have 4 families, my family, your family, plus 2 more. We assist that family. We grew every community. We grew our community. But what happened is we got caught up in the American dreams. We got caught up in America selling us this wolf ticket, and we bought into it. And that's what destroyed our community, because we no longer have a community.
I'm going to say this here. Years ago, I sold cars back in the late 90s. And we used to get Hispanic customers come in with A1 credit, buy cars. And I used to wonder why. Like, damn, what the fuck they doing? Like, they buying top dollar trucks, F-150s, dualies. I was like, damn, how do they get all this money? They got this credit. And what I found out was you got a Hispanic family living in one house. And it's like 20 of them in one house. That's right. And I'm not saying it to be funny. No, I'm saying it that they splitting these bills. And they splitting these bills, and when they get these cars, they paying cash, and they paying their notes, and they credit steady.
Increasing all the time.
Increasing.
The debt ratio is so low. It's so low. The debt ratio is so low.
Exactly. So when my grandmother was alive and somebody got kicked out of the house, or they had
a house.
They got evicted, they had somewhere to go to get back on their feet.
As long as they needed.
As long as they needed. We have, as a black community, we have gotten away from that.
That's right.
Now, if your ass get evicted or kicked out, you can't come stay with me.
Right, and if you do, it's no more than a week or 2.
Yeah. Oh, I can let you stay for about a couple weeks, and then you gotta go on. We have, as black people, we have gotten away from family.
Yeah, no doubt.
Togetherness. Mm-hmm. We have gotten away from us, the black men, taking control.
Yep.
We all individualized. We are. And that's hurting us.
That's hurting.
And it's not helping us. Now look at these young brothers now.
Education. Yeah.
I said this once before. These goddamn young ladies are more harder than the young men now.
Yeah.
Even if you listen to the music, the female rappers are the ones that's having more play than the male rappers that's coming out now.
They coming
and back
out
in
harder.
the day, it wasn't like that.
They coming out harder.
These females are a lot harder than these young men are. These young men are more pussy than the women than these young ladies are. And I'm not saying that to slight it. It's what it is because number one, we're not more involved in their lives.
Right.
These women are, and they ain't knocking no woman,
Right.
not knocking none of our queens. These women are raising these guys, but they babying these motherfuckers too.
They don't take the titty
Take
out
the
the mouth.
titty out the mouth
There you go.
Yeah.
and let them be a young man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, though, Pops. Unfortunately, for instance, you can date a woman today for 2 years and never meet her kids. Back in the days, when you met a man, that man as a single woman, his first date, his first meal was at the table with all the kids.
But I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna stop you there, and I'm gonna tell
Go
you
ahead,
I'm
boss.
gonna tell you the reason why. The reason why, because now you also got a lot of hoe ass men
Right?
Yes, sir.
that prey on kids. So
Yeah.
these women now gotta be careful who they bring around their kid. You definitely gotta be careful
That's
of what
true.
of bringing. So that's why it takes a lot longer for a man when you meet a woman. That's why it takes a lot longer for a man to meet that kid.
As it should.
Oh,
be.
Because
As
the reason,
it should be. As it should
because
be. As it should be, Pop.
and it
It
should
should
be,
be.
and because you, as a woman, you got to be careful because you got a lot of guys out here that fuck with kids.
Yeah, but Pops, and here, that's true. That's 100% true. But we also have to look at the big picture. They did the same thing back then.
Back then, I was just about to say that.
They did the same bullshit. Most of the adult young ladies today, I'll be 61 if the good man upstairs let me see June 15th. A lot of these women that's my age, they were molested and raped
Molested, exactly.
and was fucked by their uncles and shit like that. It's just now everything is commercialized.
But-
crimes is not lower now than it was back in the 70s.
But here's the thing: now the women are more educated than the women from back then.
They are.
The women back then wasn't educated. Cause think about it. Back then, the parents, the mom or the dad or whoever, back then used to always say, "Girl, you need to get a man. Girl, you need to you need to get married,"
they
and that
promoted
kind
it.
of forced them to start dating a man.
Yeah.
Back then. So the women they was more into, all right, I got to get this man because my mama said I got to get a man. Now, it's not like that.
Mama had a man.
Now, these women are a little bit more educated than the
Education.
women back then.
They are.
So now they take their time on bringing a man around that kid.
Yeah, they are.
There's some fucked up
Yeah,
dudes
yeah,
out there, dog.
Here you go, take this one.
Not saying y'all, because I know, but I'm saying there are some fucked up guys out there that prey on kids. And that will fuck with a parent or fuck with the mom just to get to that kid.
Yeah, women were homemakers back then.
But to just expunge on what you're saying, although that's true, but still the thing was back then, we swept everything under the carpet.
Yes.
Now it's not being swept under the carpet.
No.
Because you touch on something, I wasn't here last week. It was a couple weeks ago. And you said something. These, and I'm going to use the words you use, these bitch-ass, hoe-ass niggas, and I don't use that word. You always hear me say Negro.
I do.
I say niggas.
Yeah, I got you. Go
They
ahead.
out here killing
Women.
Women.
Yep.
Because I can't have you, won't nobody have you.
And we talked about that shit.
There's some weak, sorry motherfuckers out here.
And we talked about that shit.
That's why I said you touched on it.
We talked about that shit last week. The guys out here, hey man, the woman don't want you, let it go.
Let it go. Because you can always upgrade. You can. It's not hard to upgrade.
You know how,
especially for a man.
I ain't even been next door. Y'all been next door? Y'all been over there next door? It's more women than guys, right? See? See? It's more women than men. So my question was last week, why would you not let that lady go and do her thing, but you want to sit there and fucking kill a woman because she don't want to be with you? Man, fuck you.
That just happened here recently.
It just happened today. Today, this man shot.
Today?
He shot the lady and while shooting the lady, he shot the 10-year-old kid and then killed himself.
A brother.
And here, you know, we have to. And I always say this. And I'm going to continue to say this. Our community problem is not our women. It's what you always say on your podcast. It's these us bitch-ass men that impregnate a woman, do whatever we want, and say, fuck it. Because the same way she take you to court for child support, you can take her for court for the rights to see and spend time with your child.
Exactly.
But we could go spend hundreds of dollars on bullshit, but we won't spend it on a lawyer for the right to be a parent.
You so right about that. Yes, I didn't know there was another killing dealing with another female.
I didn't know that
man.
It's been as many storms as we've had in the last 2 weeks. We've had as many black women shot and killed by their husband, their men, their boyfriends because of that. Because my thing is, like I said, one thing I say this, and I don't say this arrogantly or facetiously, I can always upgrade.
We all can. We can
always upgrade.
We can always.
Because at the end of the day, especially people in our late 40s, 50s and stuff, we was raised different. We was raised by a man. Even if we weren't raised by a daddy, there was an uncle, a grandfather, a cousin, or our mama had a man that had all authority, not just part authority, had all authority over us.
Or somebody in the church.
Or somebody in the church.
That was a man.
That had authority over us. Today what has happened is these young kids have no authority over them besides that woman. And that woman don't see no wrong in their kids.
That's a big problem. Yes, sir.
That's a huge problem.
That's a huge problem.
That's a huge problem.
Because they don't have any conflict resolution, you know. They have all these kids, you hear them talking about my op. What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, I still don't know what the fuck that is, but
it's
go ahead.
like everybody, the world isn't against you, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Learn how to deal with stuff as a man, but the first thing these young cats want to do is grab a gun, you know, because they have no conflict resolution. We fought our ass out in the streets, you know.
We fought, and we were still friends.
Right.
Nobody picked up a gun and shot nobody.
Right.
Or something. That's who you rolling.
You know.
But we no longer.
But you can't coddle these young men like these. A lot of the females are doing now. They're championing these boys, whether it's to get back at the father, they're not with the father, but they talk my young king, and you're not putting nothing in him. But putting Louis and Gucci on him, that's not raising him.
But let me ask this question: how do we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? There's other brothers back here, but I'm just talking about the brothers in the panel.
Now we're talking about them brothers too. Come on.
I didn't include them, but especially the educator. I'm gonna ask him: how do we change the narrative?
Well, again, how you change the narrative, education. That was my big goal. I took a pledge. Like I said, I am a member of the oldest fraternity in America. I'm an alpha. I took a pledge to educate the kids inside of the system. Now, if I get out and be a Tupac, a revolutionary, they gonna come and get me. So I was smart. I outsmarted the system and say, you know what? I'm gonna go inside the system and teach these kids how to be a man inside of the system. And this takes a pledge. I'm one person. Right. I'm not everybody.
But if you
but
saved one, you did a lot.
I did a lot. Yes. I mean, not a lot. I've accomplished a lot because it's about these seeds. And the seed is the mental. The brain is the seed. If I get in there and educate these kids on life, also inside of the education academic that they need to learn just to get by, me teaching them life, I won. Yes, I won. When kids come back to me and they say, man, I graduated from college. Man, you made me who I am today, Coach Bobb. And when I get that feeling, I know that I beat the system. Yes, and that's what it is.
Go ahead, Scott. I got something to say after you. Go ahead, Scott.
Let me say I'm with you, Fred, on that, the education, but it doesn't always have to be education that gets you there. I'm looking at all the brothers in this room and what we do. We all successful, right? And you talk about coddling, Ron. You talk about these females coddling these males, but you got to understand what's missing in the house. It's that father leadership. That father leadership has fallen short somehow, and these kids are growing up without a positive male role model in the house to get them where they need to be. Now, what you can do, and when you was talking about a solution, perhaps, and it's one I decided to pursue when I was in Baltimore City, is there's big brothers of America. You know what I'm saying? You can get involved in that. I did that. I took it upon myself. And it's not about being a big and deciding, well, I want the cute young kid. You know, because a lot of them get enamored with the fact, oh, he's so cute or he's small. No. I said I wanted to go straight into it. I wanted to go into that impacted youth that was in his teens, who was being impacted by his peers that he's running with. And I took him on as a mission to try to educate him and to try to give him a positive role model. I was in the military. He saw me in uniform. I tried to teach him some of those responsibilities, accountabilities as a man and what you had to be. And he still was attracted to the streets. He was still doing his thing. And then one day, one of his boys got shot. And I don't know, that woke him up a little bit. But by me staying with him and continuing to impress upon him these positive role models and things that you can do as a male, when he graduated, he joined the service. Right. And he went on to be a successful sergeant. So that's something where we got to give back. It's not just education in the school. Don't drop your child off and expect us to babysit him. Right. No. You got to we've got to create these organizations, these all male positive black young men organizations to impact these young, even if it's getting up and just getting involved with Big Brothers and Sisters of America.
And I was just about to say that. What if, and this is an idea, we got together and did a brotherhood. And with that brotherhood, we're able to go to these schools and talk to these kids and see what's going on and see what's missing to be in somebody's life. Because we never know. That kid may be the next me, may run another restaurant. That kid may be the next teacher.
That's what I'm saying.
That kid may be another military guy. But he don't know until he see brothers like us from all walks of life that does all kind of different things, from driving trucks to whatever it is. They need to see this. Because if they don't see it and they don't know it, they don't believe it can happen. And then when they feel like it can happen, it's too late. It's a lot of lives as far as young black brothers that could be saved, that we
could save.
We can help and we can save if we come together. Now I know it's more brothers than this there, but if we can get together and make something happen and be a part of this community, we can go to Yates, we can go to Wheatley, we can go to Cashmere and see how these brothers are living, what's going on. Talk to them, mentor somebody. Hell, even if you just went down to the middle schools, these black middle schools, and help mentor these kids to see where they at, see what's going on.
Well, you remember when we was growing up, we had community centers. Growing up, we had people like that was in the Panther Party. I remember reading a book as a kid. Like I said again, I was Mr. Ryan. I changed my life around. I was Mr. Ryan. We had a book called Souls of Black Folks by W.E. Du Bois. And it shows you how you can infiltrate the mind. We have to infiltrate their mind. And when you infiltrate their mind on the statistics of who are you? Who are you? When they say who are you, what can you do to make me want to get out these streets? What type of example you went through? What have you been through? And when again, we talk about it, but it's education, flat out. I heard him talk. Everything he said teach, do this. It's all about educating and having the confidence to go out there and do it. We could talk about it all day. And the living witness, a lot of people say, I couldn't be no teacher. Well, shit, we the ones who raising these kids. I raised these young black kids, and I sit my kids down and say, how many I have y'all father in y'all household with you right now? Out of 50 kids.
Maybe 1 or 2.
It might be 7 at the most. Not even that much, 5. And I say, man, you know what? And I have my own son. My son goes to my school with me too. You coming to school with me, and you in my class. I teach my son in my classroom. You understand? My son in my classroom. You understand? I coach my son. So, and when I tell my son, you can't take me for granted. You understand? You take me for granted. Look how many of your homeboys that don't got no daddy. Look how they love me. They love me.
Because they need that.
Because they envy you. Because you got me.
You got daddy.
And you taking me for granted. You understand?
Pops, I have a challenge.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And I don't know if it's possible.
Come on, because we finna wrap it up. What you got?
All right. I don't know if it's possible we can do this.
What's up?
Can we do a podcast? Everyone sitting in here, that's a black male. Bring a young black male in here on a podcast. I don't know if they can be in here, so you'll make that decision. That we all bring a young black man in here. Every one of us gonna bring somebody and touch their mind and let them hear us speak and listen to them speak and take that information. Because in my high school, I created the Black Men United. And we have a big rally every year. They shut down the school and have a rally at our high school, Evanston Township High School. They give free T-shirts and stuff like that. We fund everything, and we bring them. Are we able to bring a young black man in here on a given, whatever day you say is cool, if it can be done? And every one of us, I challenge each and every one of us to bring a young man in here and adopt that child. And we're going to take them from 4th, 5th grade all the way through high school.
Let's do this, Sim. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Before we bring the young man, let's bring the mother.
Okay.
Let's bring a mother, a single black mother.
That's
gonna be
first.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on there first, because you got to go.
Exactly.
You got to go there first.
I agree.
And then let's meet the kid and go through to that point.
Pop,
What's up?
And I'm not trying to cut nobody off. I'm living it, y'all. I meet so many black single women. I meet them. I need you to help my son do this. I need you to help my son do this. His daddy not in his life. He done. My players. And when I say, I treat everybody the same. I get on that butt, and I'm going to hug them, love them. You know what I'm saying? I hit them in the chest. There you go, baby. When you're doing wrong, When they see me and they do wrong, they automatically, their head drop like, dang. Because they know I don't accept. You letting me down, man.
Right.
I hold you accountable. You understand? And what he just said, it's about the woman. Because she has all the authority. Society has given the woman the authority to run our black families.
Right. And Pop, can I just say this? I'm going to give out little props to Dwight Borkins.
Yeah.
Ronald, Dwight already have a program like that, and I'm involved with it myself. I got a chance to speak, coached for a day at one of the schools up north. I forget the name of the high school. And he have a mentorship like that. And then after the game, you actually coached it, and the principal behind you, and you got all these kids in. So when I decided when I was up to speak, and I was actually running that particular high school deal up north, and I was shocked at the amount of kids that literally came to just listen. And it was just about my life story. It was about what they can potentially do and not allow what's going on around their world to get them off track. So, Ronald, if you guys want to get involved, and I challenge you, Pop, to get Dwight in here one day. He got a program already in place.
He's an alpha.
Yeah, he got a program already in place that's absolutely phenomenal. And for me to sit down and just talk to about 15 kids, and they were just throwing questions at me left and right. It was an open forum. And to talk to them about getting on the right track, telling them that, hey, life can be more than what you have right now. And when you get out into this world, that you have to be ready to be able to compete in this world. Now, you're going to hear me say that a lot, because one of the things that I see with younger guys, especially in the corporate world, is that they're not used to competition. I mean, being competitive. And when I say competitive, I was just talking about workplace competitiveness right now in that sense there. Because they don't have the belief in themselves that they can get there. They can do greater things than me. But they got to have that belief. And that's why, man, I honor you, Coach, for what you're doing. Because you might be raising the next president, not even realizing it.
I am.
What I mean?
I am. I know I am. The leadership. You gotta. And I don't even. When I talk to these kids, first day of school, I put this. I have a motto. I will do my best. I will never quit. I am somebody. Life is hard, but it's what? Fair. I make them write that down in their book. I had this thing that we call Bible. I call it Bible when I teach the history. Say, man, when you open up your book every day, this is what you're going to say, and I make them recite it. You understand? And when I ask them, what you want to be when you grow up? I don't want to hear nothing about no sports. Right. I want to be a football player, basketball player. I don't want to know you exactly, because I am a living witness about going to the NFL and getting cut when I know who I was.
Less than 1% of the college players make it to the NFL.
What you got to say, Scott?
More importantly, in that competing, not everybody's a winner.
Exactly.
Not everybody gets a first place trophy. No. Okay? You got to understand, when you compete, you might fall short, but you teach. You teach. You don't give up. You teach how to be resilient. You've got to teach that component of it, because nowadays they feel as though because I just showed up and I'm listening and I'm here, you're supposed to give me something.
What you got to say, Terrence? You got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to change the narrative. I want to go back just for a second to reparations for a second. I want to know what form does reparations come in, because during World War II, when the Japanese were interned, they didn't ask them about they weren't talking about reparations. They compensated them. When the Holocaust, the Jews, they compensated them. So we dealt with 400 years of slavery. When you talk about reparations, give me my $1 million. You understand?
But we will overcome. But we will overcome regardless. If we don't have it, we're going to still overcome that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't need to be going off on anything else. We're going to do it.
Yeah, but my point is, when we talk about reparations, let's define exactly what might be the best route. Martin Luther King said it best when he said,
Martin Luther King said it best when he said, every peasant, he used the word peasant, got they picket fence and they mule. We're the only peasants that didn't get ours. But we built this country. So we have to also look at everything and follow the course of action because everybody has gotten theirs. Evanston, Illinois, again, I keep bringing up my hometown, is the first city, and you guys can look this up, in America that offered reparation. The very first, Evanston, Illinois.
Well, you gotta also look at immigration. Okay, we always talk about other races. They give. Now, the first immigrants to ever to be a part of the economical system was the Chinese. They built the railroad system. Now, we already know who the railroad is. They the mob. They run everything, the railroad system. The Chinese built the railroad system and it came in and got their own because they was hurting in their country. They brought over so much amount to help build the westward expansion for the railroad so we could connect from from east to west, from Atlantic to the Pacific. The Chinese. So, we always talk about what the Chinese have done or they got their own. They work too. Yeah, you understand? For what they got. Just like the Hispanics, the Mexicans, they were the Indians. They were the Native American. Let's not say Indians because Indians is, let's say Native American. They the descendants, just like we're the descendants of the Africans. You understand? But the Chinese, they came into work just like we have in the South. That's why it's so heavy populated with blacks in the South because of the agricultural system that the South had, with blacks in it. The cotton, the wheat, the corn, all of those are agriculturals. But once we got to the point of being free, we moved up yonder, up north. You understand? And that's where the industrial system came in that gave us black people to have our own reparations.
Say what you got to say because I'm going to wrap it up.
Okay, then. Coach, one thing also, when you mentioned the Chinese, one of the things that if you go back in history and look at after they built the railroads, one of the things they did was the money they did get, they spent that right in their own community.
In their own community.
In their own community. And back then, it was no more than laundry shops and stuff like that. But what they did was they stuck together. It doesn't matter where you make the money at. I'm going to keep saying that. It's where you spend the money.
Yeah.
That's where you spend the money.
So who gonna do my feet? Huh? I'm just being real. So I'm gonna start getting. I'm a comedian out of comedy. And there ain't no black. If you can find me a black folk that gonna do some feet,
well,
you're here, man.
That's the only. That's the only thing.
Hey, listen. Hey, Coach. Hey, listen. You can also go with the hair.
That's the only thing that may not make the black community.
That's not. Yeah, that's right.
It's doing somebody's feet and probably the massages with happy ending. And
really, Pop, you gonna go there?
and doing yard work. But hey, I want to say this, man. I know we touched on some things. And like I always tell y'all, man, I never have a subject. I didn't know we were going to talk about that. But we talked about education because Brady Bobb is a teacher, and also Scott is a teacher, and they had a long year, dealing with kids all year. And that sparked the conversation and what we got into. And what we got into, it was down to 2 hours of what we got into just by talking about that one thing. And here's one thing I'm gonna say, and I tell mothers of kids this. Life is like sports, really, a sport. And what I mean by that is that in sports, if you're playing football, basketball, soccer, whatever it is that you're playing, you go into that game with a game plan. We go into life with a game plan. But during that game, something always happen to occur. So now we gotta change the play. Now we gotta do something different. We gotta change the strategy and the same thing in our life. We gotta change the strategy of something. And whatever you had planned didn't work. All right, so that didn't work. So what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do next? And that's how I look at life, and that's how people should look at it. And I know we do because we all play sports.
Right.
And we know how to, that didn't work, so let me do something else. What you guys say, Tony?
I'm going to go back to what the light bird said. And I'll tell you guys all about the story of the light bird. But anyway, it's about never quitting, man.
Yeah.
Don't quit.
You just can't quit, because if an opportunity closes in one place, that means you got more opportunities in another place.
Exactly.
And you just can't give up and say, oh, my God, this person did. Oh, forget about it.
Exactly.
Move on and never quit.
Our ancestors didn't quit, man. Yeah.
Pops, since I know you got to wrap it up, I just want to ask you this question.
Okay.
You brought up an excellent point. Let's start with the mother. How much time are you giving each and every one of us in here to come in here with a mother and address some of the issues in our community?
So let's do this. Next week when we have the women folk on with us, we're gonna talk about this, because I know there's a lot of women that we have on the show know a lot of single mothers that have boys. And let's ask them to invite some women so we can sit down, we can have the discussion with them. And I believe that'll blossom into having other women that's having problems with their young men. And and that'll blossom into something else, and that'll start.
Let's do it.
Going on from now. So next week, let's make sure, hey Slim, we make sure Slimmy here and all the ladies that usually on the show next Thursday, make sure they're here, and we're gonna talk about that with them. And I think it's gonna work out good. And once we talk about that, then we give ourselves another 2 weeks after that to make sure we have those women to come in, or whatever date it's going to be possible, because one of these Thursdays, at the last Thursday of the month, we're gonna probably be off, only because I'm going out of town with my family. So we'll play it by ear after next Thursday, then we'll see how much time we'll have then. But we definitely need to do that. And not knocking women, our women of color that have daughters. That's a whole nother strategy that we'll have to get in. But these young men, let's start with them first, because men are always the head. So if we start with the head, we can make our way to the young ladies later. And because a lot of young ladies need to have a father figure too. Because a lot of these young ladies don't know how to be treated, and if we don't mold the young men and teach them how to treat a lady, what's used to even trying to teach so that's where we need to go at, man. I just want to thank you fellas, man. This is this is family. All these guys are family. They're a part of this family, the Den family, and I want to thank them for being a part of this. And I know some of y'all didn't want to be on the show today, but I kind of made y'all on the show, and I'm glad y'all did. I'm glad y'all did, because my camera crew, they came in late yesterday, so I'm not putting the blame on them. I know they was tired. They had a long flight from L.A. back to Houston, and they wasn't prepared or anything like that. We did have quite a few people yesterday that wanted to be on the show. We had some new people that wanted to be on the show yesterday. So, but they'll come back. But we need to get all of this together. Once we do, we'll be fine. Once again, fellas, I thank y'all. Brady Bobb, thank you. Tony, Chad, Scott, Ron, Terrence, thank you guys, man, for being a part of this. And
great show. Again.
And this, I didn't think this was going to be what it was, but this
great
actually
show,
came out to be a hell of a show. And it's probably one of my favorites right now. I know we talked about bitch ass niggas last week, but no, this was on some real serious.
Yeah, real. Which is needed.
Which is needed. And I was actually going to talk about sports, but we talk about sports anytime.
Yeah.
Shit. But once again, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of Big Stick Energy. This is what we do at Big Stick Energy. This is about real stuff, about real people, and we just talk about issues that's in our community and what's going on around us. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. This is brought to you by Brock Brand. Go to brockbrand.com. Get your Brock Brand gear. Also, Quad Houston. Good food, good drinks, good vibes, good people, good everything. It's all good at Quad Houston. Also, with the Den Cigar Lounge, make sure you make your way in here. Get you a stick or two. Come support us. And come see the one and only Mickey that's going to help you. She's going to be helping you. Come see her. Everybody knows that. Oh, yeah. And she work hard around here, but, you know.
Sugar baby.
She work hard when she want to. So, but we want to thank everybody. And also, like I say, this brought to you by Brock Brand, Quad Houston, the Den Cigar Lounge, 4608 Almeda. Make sure you make your way on over here. And once again, I got all the energy and I got the Big Stick, and I want to thank y'all once again for being a part of Big Stick Energy. Go to Big Stick Energy, HTX, on Instagram. Thanks, fellas.